On the third day, Kellen's observant eyes caught a splash of vibrant color near the tracks, the luminary ridge patch brimming with gleam blossoms. An idea sparked. What if he offered these small tokens of natural beauty? He gathered a handful, their delicate petals, a stark contrast to his worn clothes. Returning to Vanguard Junction Station, he extended not an empty hand, but one holding a single exchange bloom. When passengers offered Viridian tokens, he reciprocated, presenting a flower. Smiles met him, a stark change from the usual pity. He noticed a clear pattern. Generosity bloomed with his supply and withered without it. The principle of value for value resonated deeply. Weeks later, the rhythm of Kellen's days had profoundly shifted. No longer a specter of desperate need, he now stood with a quiet dignity at Vanguard Junction Station, his hands often cradling a fresh bouquet of vibrant exchange blooms. The small, often overlooked acts of exchange had transformed his outlook. Each smile, each genuine thank you he received for a flower in return for a few Viridian tokens, cemented the undeniable principle Thaddeus had articulated: learn to gauge the ebb and flow of passengers. The best times to replenish his stock from Luminary Ridge Patch. He was becoming astute, observant, and subtly confident. Then, one brisk morning on April 7th, he saw him again. Thaddeus Creston, impeccably dressed as always, emerged from an arriving Azure Line Express car, a picture of refined purpose. A surge of excitement, almost elation, coursed through Kellen. This was his chance. Stepping forward, a small cluster of particularly striking blooms held out, Kellen called out, "Sir, today I have something for you." Thaddeus paused, his observant eyes narrowing slightly in recognition before a faint, knowing smile touched his lips. "If you offer me Creston currency, I will give you these exchange blooms." Thaddeus reached into his coat pocket, retrieving a few crisp notes of Creston currency. He exchanged them for a handful of the vivid blossoms Kellen presented. "You've truly grasped the essence of trade, Kellen," Thaddeus remarked, his voice calm but laden with approval. "You're no longer merely a mendicant. You've become an entrepreneur." With a nod, Thaddeus continued on his way, disappearing into the station's bustling interior. Kellen stood there, the weight of Thaddeus's words settling deep within him. Entrepreneur. The truth dawned, not as a sudden flash, but as a quiet, irrefutable clarity. He wasn't begging, he was trading, providing tangible value. People weren't offering pity, they were buying his flowers. This epiphany, solid and resolute, solidified his resolve. That very day, Kellen gathered his remaining blooms and, for the last time, left Vanguard Junction Station. He never returned as a beggar, his gaunt frame now carrying the weight of purpose and a future he was actively building. 6 months later, on a crisp autumn morning, October 7th, a well-dressed Kellen Brixton strode into Vanguard Junction Station. His clothes were tailored, his shoes shined, and a new confidence animated his frame, a stark contrast to the gaunt figure who once begged by the Azure Line Express platforms. He carried a sleek leather brief, not a satchel of fading blooms. He wasn't seeking alms, he was heading to a business meeting concerning his burgeoning floral enterprise, exchange blooms and botanicals. As he navigated the familiar throngs of commuters, his eyes landed on a distinguished figure by the station's main board. Thaddeus Creston. Kellen's heart gave a jolt of recognition and gratitude. He approached, a genuine smile lighting his face. Thaddeus, initially lost in thought, looked up, his observant eyes narrowing in polite confusion at the unfamiliar, confident man before him. Then, a flicker of recognition crossed his features, slowly giving way to a warm, knowing smile. "Kellen?" Thaddeus inquired, surprise softening his authoritative demeanor. "Yes, sir," Kellen replied, extending a confident hand. "It's been a while. You might not recognize me, but I assure you, I wouldn't be here like this if it weren't for you." Thaddeus shook his hand firmly, his gaze taking in Kellen's transformation. "I see you've taken my words to heart." "More than you know," Kellen affirmed. "You taught me life's most valuable lesson that day, Thaddeus. We truly receive only when we give. I realized I was always a businessman. I just needed to perceive myself that way." He gestured vaguely at the bustling station. "I'm the proprietor of a growing floral business now. It all started with those gleam blossoms in your challenge. profound sense of mutual respect filled the space between them. They stood, two men, now equals, connected by a shared moment that had reshaped a life. They spoke briefly of their respective journeys, Kellen sharing snippets of his hard-won success, Thaddeus listening with genuine interest and quiet pride. Finally, with another firm handshake and a mutual understanding, they wished each other well and headed towards their respective destinations, each carrying the silent testament that our perception of self dictates our potential. It enables us to transcend limitations, allowing us to achieve greatness simply by shifting our mindset. If this story resonated with you, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing for more inspiring narratives like this one. On a crisp autumn morning, October 7th, Kellen Brixton, impeccably dressed and radiating a newfound confidence, walked through the familiar throngs of Vanguard Junction Station. His movements were assured, his briefcase sleek leather, stark contrast to the threadbare figure who once begged by the Azure Line Express platforms. He was no longer seeking Viridian tokens. He was en route to a business meeting for Exchange Blooms and Botanicals, his thriving floral enterprise. As he navigated the bustling hub, his gaze snagged on a distinguished figure near the main departure board. Thaddeus Creston. A jolt of recognition and profound gratitude shot through Kellen. He approached, a genuine, unburdened smile lighting his face. Thaddeus, engrossed in thought, looked up, his observant eyes narrowing in polite confusion at the confident stranger. Then, a slow, dawning recognition spread across his features, transforming into a warm, knowing smile. "Kellen?" Thaddeus inquired, genuine surprise softening his authoritative demeanor. "Yes, Thaddeus," Kellen replied, extending a confident hand. "It's been a while. You might barely recognize me, but I assure you, I wouldn't be here like this if it weren't for you." Thaddeus gripped his hand firmly, his gaze sweeping over Kellen's tailored attire and vibrant demeanor. "I see you've taken my words to heart," he remarked, a hint of pride in his voice. "More than you know," Kellen affirmed, his eyes gleaming with purpose. "That day, you taught me life's most valuable lesson. We truly receive only when we give. I finally realized I was always a businessman. I just needed to perceive myself that way." He gestured vaguely at the bustling station around them. "I'm the proprietor of a growing floral business now." A profound sense of mutual respect solidified the space between them. They stood, two men, now undeniably equals, linked by a shared moment that had profoundly reshaped one man's life. They conversed briefly, Kellen sharing the unexpected challenges and triumphs of his hard-won success, Thaddeus listening with genuine interest and a quiet satisfaction, another firm handshake and a silent understanding. They wished each other well and headed toward their separate destinations. Each carried the silent testament that our perception of self truly dictates our potential, empowering us to transcend any limitation and achieve greatness simply by shifting our mindset. If this story has moved or inspired you, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more empowering narratives designed to illuminate and uplift.